Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here to race number 19 of Season 9 of the NNSCRA Snickers Cup Series. We are here today live from Watkins Glen International Raceway for caution-free road course racing. 14 laps scheduled here today for all three of our division races. This is the next to last race before the chase field is put together. Next week, we will find out who the 16 drivers will be that will battle for the championship after the regular season finale at Arizona Speedway. But here today, Watkins Glen is our, I guess you could say, penultimate race before we will find out who the chase drivers will be. And so time is very quickly, it is running out for these drivers to make the moves, get the wins, make the trips to victory lane, and get themselves up high enough in the point standings to make it into the 16 that will battle for the championship in a 10-lap shootout. We'll see what's going to happen here today as road course ace Ralph Mason will start on the pole position. Now, the only way that Ralph Mason really would be able to make the chase is if he wins here today, and he wins next week at Arizona. But hey, stranger things have happened here in the NNSCRA, and alongside of him, guy who had a really good run last week at Coca-Cola, that's Daniel Day in the 22, still looking for his first win of the season. So we're going to take a look at your starting lineup for today's race. There is Mason and Daniel Day. As we look further back there's Chris Louvier, already locked into the chase. Michael Norman's actually quite close. He comes in 12th right now if the chase were to start. Tanner Sullivan. Now, this is an interesting thing about Tanner Sullivan. Dougie Shears right now holds the 16th spot in the chase standings at the current moment, but he's only 2 points ahead of last week's winner, Alex Pedro, in the point standings. So Pedro will be looking to finish better than Dougie Shears today, but only 6 points behind Dougie Shears is Tanner Sullivan. So we'll see what Sullivan can do here today to try and get himself back up mathematically into the hunt for this season's chase. As there was your lineup, and we're going to get these cars now rolling along. I thought I hit the button, but apparently I didn't. Alright, there we go. Now we're getting ready to go. 14 laps of racing, as I said, in case you missed it, caution free. Whatever happens, happens. There will be no yellow flags to help bunch these guys back up. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see. We had similar situation like this at Champs-Élysées. We had it at Open Roads. We had it at Thornton. Brought about some really good racing, and we're going to see what's going to happen here at the Glen. I'm assuming much like those other three races, track position is going to be a key factor. So a lot of these guys that qualified up here at the front, that's a good thing for them. And I noticed that rolling off in 9th place is last week's winner, Steven Gonzalez. Remember, a second win here today, that would lock him up a spot in the chase for the championship. But let's see what's going to happen here. Green flags out, and Mason, man, he timed that perfectly. He's gone. Daniel Day going to try and outbrake him here into this corner, though. Tries to get around the high side. But Mason is going to hang on, and he will take the top position. Daniel Day now under fire from James McLeod for the second spot. You guys didn't tune in to the Mobile One Cup Series race. You missed out on a really good one. There are a lot of trouble spots here at this particular track, and we're going to see one of them right here. Whoa, look her up in the air. That was Charles Jackson at the rear of the field. Oh, McLeod took that turn wide. Keeps it together, though. Cycle back through here, see if everybody gets through the dog leg, but Charles Jackson got airborne back there. Dylan Pote, Anthony McCurry working their way around. Tim Walsh, I think, got a piece of that, and Jackson's on pit road. Ian Siegel also on the pit lane. Word has been announced that Ian Siegel and Siegel Motorsports, that 186, will not be running in Season 10. As it is two cars at the front row. Ralph Mason, Daniel Day. Matthew Dallio is now moved up to third with McLeod and Louvier completing the top five. Riley Anderson going underneath Caleb Farrell. It's a battle for sixth. Steven Gonzalez right behind that, as well as Michael Norman. Tim Walsh off the pace. Nick Alton coming to pit road. Langford's on pit road. He's now coming off, so it's Johnny Gardner on pit road. Fitzwater continued. Heading back into the dogleg turn again. Ralph Mason's got a rear deck lid full of the Shell Pennzoil Chevrolet. We're going to cycle back here. Oh, Steven Gonzalez got into the tire barrier and now gets hit by Austin Weiner. Noah Hart collected as well. Luis Hernandez, Jack Kearney, and Ben Braley. Oh, Trevor Gelfie comes flying in. Still all backed up there. Poteet was held up. Fitzwater. Oh, and Ben Braley now slides off the course. Jack Kearney, a lot of damage on his machine. Well, looks like there was damage on Luigi Victorino's right side on his Dr. Pepper Mitsubishi. Back up towards the front. Whoa, Michael Norman, I don't think took that turn very well. He just lost some spots to teammate Kyle Collins, Austin Talley, and also now about to lose one to Chris Washer. And we got a new leader, Daniel Day. Got around Ralph Mason. Dalio moved to second. And now Dalio going to look for the lead here in the dogleg. Whoa, Mason took that turn super wide. And oh, yep, he's going to get into the tire barrier. Man. Oh, Tanner Sullivan. Wow, I thought he was going to hit the tire barrier. So everybody else going to make it through the dogleg. Looks like it. Man, the pole sitter, Ralph Mason. Oh, William Duncan. Noah Hart, they took it wide, but they're gonna save it. Oh, one car went really wide through that corner. That was Tanner Sullivan. Up and into the wall. He's now got some damage on his DeWalt. Remember we talked about that he came in not too far behind Dougie Shears, and that's a battle for a chase spot, potentially. As the leader is the BMW of Matthew Dalio. Daniel Day right there in second. Those two have opened up a bit of distance between themselves and this battle that's now on for third place. 4 drivers in this mix: Louvier, Wiley Anderson, James McLeod, and Caleb Farrell. Into the treacherous dogleg again. Looks like these guys are going to get through it at least here at the front. Whoa! Oh, I thought Austin Talley was going to mess up. John Cittadino took that turn really, really wide. There's Ben Braley, who's a lap down. Oh, whoa, whoa, Luis Hernandez way out there. And now he's going to hit the tire barrier. Some of these guys that just cannot get through that dogleg. Luis Hernandez and Ralph Mason have both ended up in it. There is Ralph. Oh, now Chris Washer's on pit road as well in the 35. I don't know what happened to him. A lot of action taking place just about every lap. But right now, Matthew Dalio is out ahead of it all. So is Daniel Day. Anderson into third. McLeod moves to fourth. And fifth now is Caleb Farrell. Sixth is Chris Louvier. Seventh place, that is Kyle Collins. Eighth, Austin Talley. Ninth, Michael Norman. And John Cittadino with Brandon Gonzalez. They are 10th and 11th. Gonzalez is another driver who actually has fallen outside of the top 10 in the points. Well, actually not top 10, but I meant to say out of the chase contention at the current moment. He was a former winner earlier on this season and was up in contention, but now he's recently fallen through the standings, so a good run here could certainly help him out. Tanner Sullivan's already run into trouble today, and so too is Austin Weiner, so that is a little bit of good news for Gonzalez if he can come away with a decent finish here. If he can come away with the victory on some kind of strategy, then he's automatically going to be locked into the chase. Meanwhile, at the front, these two continue to battle, although it really hasn't been much of a battle. Daniel Day really hasn't made as much of a charge on Matthew Dalio as he was trying to on Ralph Mason earlier. That could be one of two things. That could be either that the 22 has used up all of his stuff trying to pass Ralph Mason, or he could just be lying in wait, riding for the moment. As you can see, we're only on lap 6 of 14. There's still a little more than 8 to go. So he probably doesn't want to have to use up a lot of his equipment right now. and kind of switch roles with Dalio, rather being the hunt did than the hunter. So Daniel Day may be using a little bit of strategy here, maybe laying back, but not rightly sure if he wants to hang back quite that far. I don't know if he's going to be able to close back up as quickly as he thinks. And Matthew Dalio is still keeping himself pretty well up to speed. He almost got the wall off that final corner there, though. That was a close call. The leader nearly wrecked himself. And apparently the grip, the tires are going away because he was a full second slower than his fastest lap of this race. So Matthew Dalio having to fight that race car now, and I'm pretty certain that's probably going to be the same for the rest of these guys as well. You look here in the top 10, and there are some names, but they're outside the top 4 that, with a win here at the Glen, could lock themselves up a spot in the chase. James McLeod in 5th. Also Kyle Collins in 7th, and Michael Norman in 9th. John Cittadino, who's already confirmed himself a spot in the chase after his win back at Champs-Élysées. He was going to be able to pick up a 3rd victory, but he's a full 9 seconds back, however. And I don't rightly know if 14 caution-free laps are possible on 1 tank of fuel. I don't know if pit strategy would come into play here or not. Dalio got through that corner a lot better. So did Daniel Day. Both of them looked awful getting through that corner the last time. This time they look a lot more steady. So they must have compensated in some way. And they see Daniel Day starts to creep just a little bit closer to Matthew Dalio. Well, at least it looked like he was creeping a little closer. It looked like he drove the corner, the first corner there, a little bit harder on entry than Dalio did. But now it almost appears like visibly the gap is a little bit bigger between Dalio and Day, so maybe Day messed up that corner. Meanwhile, back here, Riley Anderson, what a great run for that rookie. Whoa, Day overran the corner. And that could be real big problems now for the 22. I don't know if he'll be able to regroup from that. But like I was saying, Riley Anderson, what a great run for that rookie. Riley actually, since replacing Daniel Voiles for the rest of the season, has had himself up here at the front for a good portion of the races that he's started. Been having a really great season right now, up here in the hunt for maybe a win at Watkins Glen if things fall his way. Documented Momo Akari having great success in the past couple of weeks. Well, there's her teammate Caleb Farrell, right now in the 4th position, and well, we got a dogfight back here for 4th place. Chris Louvier, James McLeod, and there you see, I think that was Austin Talley getting into it as well. I think McLeod messed up that right-hander coming down the front straightaway, and that lost him 2 positions. He falls now from the 5th position back to 7th. Louvier already locked into the chase. He only has 1 win, but he's running so high in the point standings, it is mathematically impossible for him to fall outside of the top 16 as far as the current chase field. So looking to continue that as he's still looking for consistency heading into the chase. There's Austin Talley, great run for him in the 6th position right now. And then there's a couple of former winners from this season. James McLeod right now in 7th, and Kyle Collins in the 8th position. Michael Norman right now in 9th. There's some former winners back here. Himself, John Cittadino in 10th rather, and Brandon Gonzalez right there in the 11th spot, trying to get himself back into championship chase contention. As the race winds down, Matthew Dalio with a very commanding lead. That in part to Daniel Day messing up the exit of the dogleg a couple of laps ago. Dalio's car has looked unsteady due to the tire wear, but for the most part his car has looked really good as far as getting through the turns. I mean, anything that I've seen that's looked somewhat uncharacteristic, I think can very largely be attributed to the fact that there's very little grip now with the worn out Goodyears, but I don't think it has anything to do with the driving style or the way he's approaching these turns of this very tricky road course. Right there, he looked a lot steadier. And we may have some interesting issues up ahead. Zachary Fitzwater is just ahead of Matthew Dallio. And I think that they're going to encounter him before this race is over. Fitzwater, who I believe got involved in the incident back on lap number 1, when Charles Jackson's car got airborne. Oh, contact! And I think that was on Dallio. Dallio didn't really give Fitzwater much room, and now Daniel Day's going to enter into the dogleg, caught behind the John Deere Ford Fusion. This is, again, another thing that's going to go right for Matthew Dallio. Day has still not cleared him. Now he's going to get to the inside of him coming down this chute into the right, or into the left-hander. But now, not only did that allow Matthew Dallio to get away a little more, but it brought Riley Anderson and Caleb Farrell to it. But now Riley Anderson's going to have to deal with Zachary Fitzwater, and now he'll get to the inside a little bit quicker than Daniel Day did. But Fitzwater playing havoc here in the final few laps of this race. But Dallio, with over a full second and a half, 1.68 exactly, has 3 more laps to get around here, and he'll be picking up the victory. Now, Dallio was a former winner this season. Is he former winner this season? No. I was going to say, he was a former winner this season in Mobile, but that actually, I believe, was last year in Season 8. And I'm trying to recall. Oh, trouble back there! Fitzwater just wrecked somebody. I think it was Cittadino. Fitzwater just took Cittadino out. No, it wasn't Cittadino. Who was it? Was it Talley? It might have been Austin Talley. Yes, Talley's the one with the damage. But I think there was somebody else in that. There's Fitzwater. But I think someone's teleported to pit road. No, nobody is. So it must have been Talley. Oh, nope, there he is, Kyle Collins. I knew there was a driver that hit harder and would have received more damage than Austin Talley had. Kyle Collins, who was running in 7th, apparently he and Austin Talley have both been wrecked by the lap machine of Zachary Fitzwater. He'd been holding up the leaders this whole past 2 or 3 laps. And now it's apparently really going to mess up some drivers' chances at the top 10. Cittadino and Norman moved into 7th and 8th. Gonzalez now moves to 9th, and now that puts Gene Sanford into the top 10. As it is still all Matthew Dallio. Got a battle. Well, I was going to say there was going to possibly be a battle for the 3rd position, but that was before Caleb Farrell messed up the dog leg. Go back up to the front again. As I was saying, I don't recall, I don't think Dallio has a Truck Series victory. I think he's only got a win in Mobile One Cup Series, which came last season, and if I'm not mistaken, it was in the Mobile One Cup Series at Charlotte. I could be wrong, but I believe that's the case. White flag displayed. We're ready to race it back to the line, and right now I don't see Matthew Dallio making any mistakes. He's got a huge advantage of 1.3 seconds over Daniel Day. Day was able to cut it down by 3/10, but he doesn't have enough laps to be able to cut it down 3/10 every lap and try and get there for the win. He's got to cut down a full 1.3 seconds here in this last lap, and I don't think that's even possible unless the engine blew in that BMW or something. Nice and steady through the dogleg. Daniel Day looked like he took it a little bit more aggressive as he continues to try and run down Matthew Dallio. He's getting through the corners nicely as Daniel Day, but he's run out of time. That's the big thing. Now Matthew Dallio is just 2 turns away from his first Snickers Cup Series victory. Through the left-hander, now into the right-hander. Plenty of gap between himself and Daniel Day, and Matthew Dallio puts on a clinic here today pretty much dominates the Division 1 race and will pick up his first Snickers Cup Series win of the season here at Watkins Glen. And what looked like a visibly closing gap between himself and Daniel Day actually remained at status quo. Day still finished 1.3 seconds back from the winner, Matthew Dalio. What a great win there for Dalio. He becomes the, I believe, only the second BMW. Nope, I'm sorry, third BMW to go to victory lane this season. Washer's been to victory lane, and Joshua Michaels, but those two drive for RGE BMW Racing. Matthew Dalio, and a single car ride, wins it here today in his BMW M3. So what a great drive there for Matthew Dalio. He got around Daniel Day and Ralph Mason at the right moment, never looked back, hit his marks and dominated this race, and will be going to victory lane here today at the Glen. Will this be putting Matthew Dalio in possible chase contention? Only time will tell. We still got 2 more division races to finish up here at Watkins Glen. We'll show you now your full finish results from today's Division 1 race at Watkins Glen. Matthew Dalio is your winner, and then come back for Division 2. So now we'll prepare for Division 2, and I think that we pretty much established, very much so, that track position is a key factor into whether you're going to finish well in this race or not. Another thing that we've determined as well is you got to take this track very easy. A lot of drivers over-driving turns, especially that dogleg turn, and a lot of drivers who were up at the front of the field, even the pole sitter Ralph Mason, ended up finishing very poorly as a result of that fact. Mason Powers will be starting on the pole position for today's race, looking for his first win of the season. Same for Lyndon Wright, who will start to his outside. We'll show you your lineup for this one. Liam Mervig and Brandon Krasta, and then the rest of the top 6 there. Robert Piet and Henry Cavanaugh. There is Carter Fargo, who at the current moment is in championship contention, but he needs a good run here today. And there's Dougie Shears, comes in that very critical 16th spot in the current chase standings, so he definitely needs a good run to make sure he is going to be still in the chase once the end of next week's race at Arizona comes around. And then here at the back, starting in the final row, you've got Kyle Matthews alongside of last week's winner from Coca-Cola, Jonathan Zorling in the 78. If he's going to go for 2 in a row, he's got quite a task trying to get himself to the front. So we'll see what's going to happen here in this one. As I said, the drivers to watch would be Carter Fargo, comes in 13th out of the 16 current drivers in the chase, and Dougie Shears comes in 16th out of the current chase drivers. And just letting you guys know, when I say that, I've put together what the chase would look like if the race had ended at this current moment in time. But that doesn't mean that these drivers that I'm mentioning, quotes, in the chase are locked in. The only drivers that are absolutely confirmed are Danny Wells, Tristan Wilhoit, Robert Piet, Chris Kyle, Sean Henley, John Cittadino, Momo Akari, Ty Dent, Chris Louvier, William Duncan, and Tim Walsh. The green flag is out. We are back underway here at Watkins Glen, ready for Division 2 racing. Nice move there by Mason Powers. Got the run, sticks it in front of Lyndon Wright, and will keep the lead off of turn 1 heading into the S's. Things really broke up there from second on back. Brandon Krasta, Robert Piet, quite a gap away from the second place car of Lyndon right now, but kind of watching the rear of the field because something happened to Charles Jackson on lap 1 through these corners, and it looks like they all get through that section. Now let's watch him here through the dog leg. Oh, Henry Cavanaugh took that wide, so did Liam Mervig. Hangs on to it, though. Whoa, look at this back here. Jay Kane's going to get turned around on the outside of a 3-wide situation. And now they're all really slowing down as a result of that. I think they're all getting through. Did we really just have one car spin and that was it? We did. One car spinning around out of the exit of the dogleg was all we had happen on that first lap. That is incredible. To quote Kyle Petty. Whoa, I think I just heard some scraping. Did somebody just wreck? Yep. Oh, there's a big wreck up here on the front straightaway. Kavanaugh's around. Joshua Michaels, I think, was around. Oh, whoa, right. That's Webster Zygarde around. Damage on Christopher Pierce. Whoa, where is Dylan Young going? Wait, where'd he go? Where? Oh, my goodness. There he is. He just cut the turn. He cut through the grass. Liam Irving's now got damage. Lisa Gonzalez damaged, as well as Eric Burton. There's Henry Kavanaugh on pit road, and Webster Zygarde, now disabled machinist, leaving the scene of the front straightaway wreck. And by the way, I didn't mention... whoa! PJ Williams wide through that corner. Whoa! Trouble! There's a car in the wall. I think that was Zach Rostowski. It is. Rostowski messing up the exit of the dog leg. Man, these camera angles. Oh, Lisa Gonzalez going wide in that corner. Carter Fargo's in trouble. Crossed the line in 13th. That's one of the drivers that came in a potential chase spot. And speaking of chase, I know that I made a fleet mention of it, but indeed, Tim Walsh is running high enough in the point standings now that he is locked into the points, into the chase this season. So now 11 of the 16 rather spots in the series chase are confirmed. So Tim Walsh will be representing Toyota in the chase. As a matter of fact, I believe he's the only Toyota right now that is currently confirmed in this season's chase. All the other ones are non-Toyota drivers. Lyndon Wright was trying to make a move there on Mason Powers back at the beginning of this lap, but kind of messed up a couple of corners. And oh, look out, Eric Burton, Webster Zygarde with their damaged machines trying to make it back around to pit road. Looks like they're going to at least get out of the way. Whoa, look out! Whoa, whoa, whoa! Zygarde got right in front of Jessica Villanueva, and Villanueva, that messed up her entrance into that corner. Got the wall. Zygarde was trying to get to pit road. I don't think Jessica realized that, and she tried making a move on the right side of Webster Zygarde. Zygarde just turned dead right to come to the access road, to pit road, and that really messed Jessica Villanueva up. That could have been really drastic. Right now, this is looking very similar to our Division 1 race. Before, it was Matthew Dahlia with the gap over Daniel Day. Now, right now, it's Mason Powers with a gap over Lyndon Wright. But there is a slower car up ahead. I believe that might have been the 53 of Liam Irving just ahead of him. That's exactly who it is. Damaged machine. And we saw how much of a factor a damaged machine played in the Division 1 race in the case of Zachary Fitzwater taking out Kyle Collins and Austin Talley. We'll see just exactly what Mason Powers will be able to do with the Degree Chevrolet. And will that bring Lyndon Wright closer to his back door again? All depends on how quickly Mason Powers will be able to dispose of Liam Irving. And then it will fall, the pressure would fall to Lyndon Wright and Brandon Crasta to try and make their way around Lyndon Wright, or no, Liam Irving's rather, slower machine. Now here we go, heading into the dog leg is where Mason Powers is going to have to make the move, and he's going to have to make it around on the outside line. Ooh, took that turn wide. He saves it though, but that brought Lyndon Wright right to his back bumper. And Liam Irving actually is going to still stay ahead of these guys. So he's not a non-factor yet. Now Mason Powers is going to make a move to the inside. Lyndon Wright looks like he's going to try and follow him there. And they both clear him. And now we got ourselves a battle for the lead again. Whoa, into the wall! Mason Powers messed up that corner. And now Lyndon Wright has moved by for the lead. Shades of what happened to Jessica Villanueva. Maybe it was having to get by Liam Ervig that messed up Mason Power's entry into the final right-hand corner. And he has, as a result, not only lost the lead to Lyndon Wright, but he still is stuck behind Liam Ervig. And actually, things could get worse for him because third place Brandon Krasta and fourth place Kyle Corbett, as well as fifth place Matt McIntyre, are starting to close in. Again, Mason Power's having trouble. He just pushed Brandon Krasta up the track there. I don't think Krasta appreciated that. Oh, now the block's going to be thrown on the high side onto Krasta. Oh, Krasta, don't do what I think you're planning to do. He is planning to do it. Oh, that was almost 3 wide. That almost was going to be 3 wide for second between two drivers on the lead lap and a driver that's off the lead lap. That was a little close for comfort, if you ask me. About halfway through this race, lap 7 going on the board. Lyndon Wright out in front. Jump back here because it seems to be the best battle. This is a 3-way battle for second. Maybe almost a 4-man fight for second, as Matt McIntyre has now been able to clear the lap machine of Liam Ervig. It's Powers, Krasta, Corbett, and McIntyre, second through fifth. Quite a ways back behind Lyndon Wright. Last time around, it was 2.4 seconds. Whoa, Krasta wide through that corner. So was Corbett. And now McIntyre comes up into the fray. He'll get around the high side of Corbett, at least try to. Corbett, though, going to battle back on the inside line through that turn. She hit the wall as a result of some miscommunication with the damaged machine of Webster Zygarde, but Jessica Villanueva doing a good job of at least remaining consistent, currently in the 6th position. Right behind her, though, maybe a battle for that spot, P.J. Williams, who we saw actually override the corner in the dogleg. He's been able to make a nice recovery, and saw Jessica Villanueva again mess up that final corner, gets the wall, and now P.J. Williams will move by for position number 7. Is that 7? Yeah, 7th place. Wait, he's running in 6th, though, they say. Okay, yeah, that was for the 6th position. My apologies. Villanueva now back to 7th. 8th place right now, Dougie Shears. This is exactly what Dougie needed to do. Dougie needs to be running in the top 10 so that he can keep himself up high enough in the point standings so that his one win will be enough, and where he's running in points will be enough to get him into the chase for the championship. Right now, this is looking very good for the driver of the 46. And if he can leave today with a really good finish, he might not have to worry about what would happen next week. He might, depending on how well he could move up through the point standings with this run today, he might be able to get himself locked into the chase before we even get to the green flag at Arizona. Battle on for 9th place. Brad Mojo had it. Clint Spillman wants it. Clint's been on a bit of a momentum streak as of late. He just actually ran his fastest lap of the race last time by, too. 109.821. There is Nick Pericles. It's kind of a bit of catch-up for that car, as he was up there in the hunt for a chase spot, and now he's got a lot of work to do to get himself back in contention. Right now running in the 11th position. There's Zach Rogers in 12th. Danny Wells just trying to keep good momentum on his side as he's already locked into the chase. The good news for him too is that still he would be the number 1 seed once the chase field is put together. None of the 2-time winners have been able to go to victory lane for a 3rd time yet. Will Hoyt, Piet, Kyle, Henley, Cittadino, Akari, they've tried, but they haven't succeeded. There's still another race next week at Arizona, though. Looking further back here, there's Jonathan Zorling. We mentioned him starting from the 41st position. He's trying to make his way around Ian Dutta. Zorling currently is forward in the 21st position, so he's made his way about halfway up through this field, but still a long march to make to try and get to the front here and try and win back-to-back races. I honestly don't see it happening. Ian Dutta messed up that corner, now about to maybe lose a spot to Dylan Young in the orange deuce. Jacob Lawler, teammate Cole Daly back here. These two have been so quiet this season. Hendrick Daly Motorsports ended up having every single one of their drivers go to victory lane last season, with the exception of Cody Lamas. Daly ended up winning at Thornton, Lawler won at Trace Riveras, Ashley LaPlante won at Indianapolis, and Kyle Matthews won at Lime Rock. None of their drivers have made victory lane this season at all. There's Kyle Matthews actually right there in the 25th position. Lisa Gonzalez way back here in 31st. Carter Fargo scored in 32nd. And then back up here to the front, Lyndon Wright continues to lead, but look at how the gap of 2.4 has been cut down now to 0.3 between himself and Mason Powers. This could be an interesting battle for the win in the final few laps, as the showing of 4 to go has been given to the Ford of Lyndon Wright out of WR Racing. That time he opened up a little bit more distance between himself and Mason Powers, opened about 0.5 more. It's now 0.8 that Mason Powers has to make up. Through the dog leg, Lyndon Wright, Mason Powers, which one of them is going to make the turn better? Now Lyndon Wright looks steady, so did Mason Powers. So I think both of them, at least for now, it might remain at status quo, but it looks like Lyndon Wright may be very steadily closing in on Lyndon Wright's machine. Lyndon Wright still continues to hold a slight advantage, but Mason Powers, he is there. He is within striking distance now. And time is running out. And oh, we got some cars up ahead. That looks like that could be the slower machine of Benjamin Miles. So we'll see how that's going to come into play. And look at there. Look at Mason Powers. He saw that lap car up ahead. He knows that if Lyndon Wright has any trouble getting around these slower machines up ahead, that Mason may be able to strike. And so he's right there within the distance of being able to make a move. Lyndon Wright's been a long time since he's been to victory lane Snickers Cup Series race, and whoa, nice and smooth around the outside of Benjamin Miles. He almost kind of used a draft off the 00 there. But the bad news for him is Mason Powers got around there too. Oh, he went wide, did Mason? Got really wide, and now he's going to lose some track position. So now Lyndon Wright has a little bit of pressure taken off of him, can concentrate on the task at hand, and that's running fast laps and also possibly having to deal with the slower machine of Carter Fargo's Buick, and this is not good for Carter Fargo. Comes in the top 16 as far as if the chase were to start now, and right now he is scored in the 32nd position. This is not good for him. I don't necessarily know if it would knock him out of chase contention, this run he'll get here today at the Glen, but certainly not going to help it. 2 to go here at Watkins. Lyndon Wright right now with a 1.06 second advantage over Mason Powers, and now a lap car will go between himself and the 79. Jump back here to Mason, see how he does of maneuvering around Carter Fargo, and it doesn't look like he's going to get around him easily. Carter's holding him up. He's really holding him up. Mason almost shoving Carter down this straight, heading into the dog leg, and uh-oh. Gonna try around the outside. He's gonna make sure he doesn't swing wide again, and he did. He swung the turn wide again, and still is behind Carter Fargo. Brandon Crast up there in 3rd, Matt McIntyre 4th, Kyle Corbett, nice run for that car. Currently in 5th, got PJ Williams 6th, 7th Jessica Villanueva, Dougie Shears in 8th, Clint Spillman 9th, and this is a battle for the 10th position. Nick Harrison actually just took it away from Brad Mojo. Mojo now wants it back, but heading back up to the front, Lyndon Wright is now being shown the white flag here at Watkins Glen, and there is a long ways back to Mason Powers now, thanks to that now lap machine of Carter Fargo. Over 3 seconds back is Mason Powers. I think the only way that Mason Powers can get Lyndon Wright now is if Lyndon makes a mistake. And I don't see Lyndon Wright making a mistake at all. I'm trying to remember back, I think it was season 4 was the last time Lyndon Wright went to victory lane. I may be wrong, but it seems like he drove a number 07. It was either a Coke Vanilla car or something like that. And I think he made Victory Lane. I think that was Season 4. Might have been as early as Season 3. But I think it's been quite a while since Lyndon Wright's been to Victory Lane in a Snickers Cup Series event. He obviously would have loved to have won earlier on this season at the track he designed, Open Roads. Was not successful though, but I think he'll take a win here today at Watkins Glen for sure. As they head through the final turn, nobody in sight. Lyndon Wright is going to be home free as he will come to the stripe. Lyndon Wright is going to win here today, Division 2 at Watkins Glen. Great run there for the WR Racing Ford, as Lyndon Wright finally makes his way back to Snickers Cup Series Victory Lane here today at Watkins Glen. It's been a bit of a struggling season, so I do not know if this win is going to put him anywhere in the competition for a spot in the season's chase, but it very well could be. We'll be finding that out at the end of the Division 3 race, which is just moments away from happening. And Mason Powers had a really strong car, closed the gap up by about 5/10, but he was not able to close it up quickly enough. Time just ran short for that 79 car. So, you see on your top left, the top 10 of this race. We'll head now for the Division 3 race to finish out what's been a pretty interesting day here at Watkins Glen. So now as we prepare for Division 3, you gotta wonder what kind of chase implications this race will have. It doesn't really look like, based on looking at the point standings coming into this race, like the first two races are going to have a whole lot of weight into this season's battle for the chase. However, it could very well have some impact, but we're going to have to wait until the races are all over to find that out. Now we're getting ready to go here for Division 3. David Rivera starts on the pole position. Now, two of his teammates out of Heavy Metal Hip Hop Racing have been to Victory Lane this season. His teammate Levi McIntyre won the Daytona 500, and then Austin Weiner also went to Victory Lane this season. Dorian Facepuncher, who's rolling off from the 6th position, and the pole sitter David Rivera, rather, both still have yet to get to Victory Lane for the first time in their Snickers Cup Series careers, both starting up here near the front, so an opportunity for a third driver from that Ford team to go to Victory Lane alongside of David Rivera, rather, is Chris Maley, former winner in the Mobile Cup Series, but he's still looking for his first win in Snickers Cup as well. And then look at the rest of the top 5. It's Retro Racing Enterprises up here at the front. Nick Smith and Charles Sanford making up row number 2, and then Joshua Collard going to roll off from row number 3 in the 5th position. Now, Sanford and Collard have both been to Victory Lane in the last 2 weeks. Sanford winning at Armory, the last 3 weeks, I should say. Sanford winning at Armory and Joshua Collard winning the week after at Champs-Élysées. So we'll see if maybe Nick Smith could become the third Retro Racing Enterprises driver to go to Victory Lane, or Charles Sanford or Joshua Collard go to Victory Lane for the second time this season and maybe lock themselves up a spot in the chase for the championship. It is possible, as we're going to show you your starting lineup here. There's Trent Dunham. He's desperately trying to get to Victory Lane. Former Mobile Cup Series champion and Truck Series champion. There's Levi McIntyre, still looking for his second win of the season. Wow, that clicked a little too quickly there. There is, right there, last week's winner from Coca-Cola, Alex Pedro in the 64, trying to go for back-to-back wins, but he's going to have quite a bit of work to do in order to get himself up there to the front and into contention for that victory. It's time to get these cars rolling off. And we've pretty much seen in both the first two division races, track position is pretty much paramount in this particular race, especially with the fact that there are no cautions, and so therefore drivers are not able to bunch back up and get ready for restarts and everything. If there's a mistake that's made, it's very difficult to recover. We've also seen that because of the fact that we go green the full 14 laps, lap traffic sometimes has come into play here for the leaders to have to contend with. So will that be something here today? I don't know. But we're ready to go. David Rivera and Chris Maley, two rookies, will get us underway here in the final division race at Watkins Glen. Maley gets the good jump. He's going to move out in front of... Rivera gets a good jump. He moves out in front of Maley. So we're going to be keeping an eye on the rear of the field and further back for a majority of this first few laps, just to make sure that everybody's okay. So everybody's good to this point, and we're getting to that treacherous part of the track, which is that dangerous dog leg. Oh, Maley took the turn wide, saves it. Sanford saves it. Collard almost didn't. Back here. I think, did everybody made it through the dog leg. Nicely done. Rivera with a commanding lead right now, about 5 car lengths between himself and Chris Maley, and then it's those Retro Racing Enterprises drivers in 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Levi McIntyre's got his hands full. He went wide there out of one of those corners. There he is in the battle with Jessica Shelton. He actually lost that spot to Shelton. Now it's Ryan Rezzo that he's battling side by side with. And wow, look at Shelton with the crossover move there on Charles Melding. Nick Smith must have messed up a corner because he just lost a spot to Dorian Facepuncher and almost lost one to Hudson. Chris Maley begins to start to reel in David Rivera now. Both these drivers very familiar with each other, actually. Both race each other in the Mobile One Cup Series. Both rookies over there. Rivera driving the 28 and Maley driving the 22. And Rivera took that turn somewhat wide. It was an odd entry into the corner, and it might have messed him up. Because Chris Maley was able to run much lower, and now Maley has closed the distance up to less than half a car length. He's right on the back bumper, and here comes Maley to the inside for the lead. Drag race to the line. Who's going to get it? Maley is going to by a full car length. And now he'll try and clear David. Whoa, David's still there on the high side. Chris Maley was going to move up in front of him, but David was already still there. Now almost the top two almost wrecked. Now Charles Sanford has moved into the picture. As those two were battling amongst themselves, now he's up there on the back bumper of Rivera. Joshua Collin and Dorian Facepuncher trying to do the same. So you've got two heavy metal hip hop racing cars up here. You've got two Retro Racing Enterprises cars. Man, Collard's the second time he's messed up that corner. He's been able to stay in the top 10. Well, it's actually going to work for him. He's going to go for the 4th position off Facepuncher. And Trent Dunham's right behind him. Nick Smith in a battle back there with Blaine Keys and Nathan Hudson. Ooh, Trent messed up that corner. Took that turn extremely wide. They're still battling for 4th place, and I think Dorian Facepuncher got the run around the outside line out of the final corner. And he'll take the take the 4th position. Jump here to the back, see if anybody's encountered any problems. Well, Stephanie Gardner is off the pace, Hood missing. But aside from her, I think everybody else is still running. Oh, nope, I'm wrong. Levi McIntyre's on pit road, TJ Dent, and Jay Barker. I think Ryan Rezzo's got some damage. I think maybe he and Levi McIntyre could have been the two that got together. That sent so many drivers to pit road. In trouble here. Dion Scott, Rohit Darbu, and Joseph Srigley. Look at Chris Dodge and Ryan Acosta have to go almost beside the guardrail to avoid. And now Acosta going through the dog leg, passing Vedarvu. Dollarton now going to get held up. Vedarvu was running in the 11th position at the time, and James Silverfox is slow. I don't know what's wrong with the Vodafone Ford. Hunter Johnson's on pit road now. Stephen Pollard, Alex Pedro, and Joshua Mudd. So just when it was looking like it was going to be a pretty calm race, people by the boatload are teleporting to pit road, and incidents are breaking out here. Up at the front, though, it's been relatively calm. There's been some battles, but they haven't been battles where drivers have gone hog wild. But at the moment, Chris Maley's got a very, very dominating car. He managed to run down and pass David Rivera, and now he's been able to keep a pretty good advantage between himself and the 86. It looks like other drivers ran into trouble that I did not know about. Jerry Guerra, Derek Pemberton, Connor Breton are all off the lead lap, so they apparently were involved in something as well. It's time for the stripe. About 6/100ths of a second, David Rivera closed the gap between himself and the Cheetos Dodge of Chris Maley. Trying to remember, and I think the last time that a Dodge went to victory lane at a road course this season was when William Duncan won Division 1 and Tristan Wilhoit won Division 3 at Infineon. Chris Maley trying to become the third Dodge driver to win this season at a road course. I'll show you the top 10 here. Maley and Rivera, they're the top two. Sanford still there in third. Fourth, Dorian Face Puncher. It's been a good day so far for two of the drivers from Heavy Metal Hip Hop Racing. Joshua Collard right there in the fifth position. Trent Dunham running consistently in sixth. Nathan Hudson right now, good run for him in seventh. There in the Mercedes as Collard messed up that corner. Got into the grass. There's no grip there, and so Trent Dunham's going to get the run on him, and he's going to take the fifth position away. Not yet. Collard still holds him. Whoa! Look at this up here. This is for second. 3 wide. Sanford, Rivera, and Face Puncher. Rivera must have made a huge mistake. And Sanford and Face Puncher capitalizing. Now Sanford moves to second. Battle now for third between the two rookie teammates. And Face Puncher is going to swing too wide in that corner. He'll slip back now to the fourth position. Whoa, look at Hudson. Collard cuts the grass every single time through that dog leg. Anyway, running in the 8th position now. Or, sorry, that is actually 7th place. Wait, is it 7th? I don't know where that is. That is 8th place still. It is Blaine Keys, so he and his teammate Trent Dunham having good runs today. Dunn the Pratt currently runs in 9th. And Tristan Wilhoit right now is in 10th, but he's under fire from Carson Gum. Chris Dollerton on pit road. James Qualls on pit road. Oh, and there was a slower car there of Stephanie Gardner that these leaders encountered. And as a result, Charles Sanford has gotten around for the lead. Sanford taking the lead from Rivera, or from Maley rather. Rivera moving to second. And now Dorian Face Puncher having to try and get around Stephanie Gardner. Unfortunately, I was going through the top 10. I did not get to see that change for the lead. So take a look on the bottom right of your screen, and it will show you just exactly how the lead was taken away. As you just saw David Rivera and Chris Maley go super wide through that corner. Rivera, I think, is at the moment pushing it a little too hard. Granted, when we get to the line, there's 5 to go. Well, actually 6 to go. But that's still enough time to run down Charles Sanford. But this is huge now for Charles Sanford, because keep in mind, Sanford won on fuel mileage back at Armory Digital Super Speedway. So he's got a victory. And if he gets a second win here today, Sanford would be ending up making his very first career Snickers Cup Series chase for the championship. Which, in all honesty, I think would be the biggest thing that's happened to Sanford in his Snickers Cup Series career since winning the Daytona 500 back in Season 7. still quite a ways to go. And it's amazing how Stanford has really come to life since moving over to Retro Racing Enterprise's Chevrolet team. Started out the season at the Mitsubishi Lancer team of Gonzales S3 Motorsports, and he had some decent runs. He had a couple of times he could have won, but circumstances always seemed to get in the way. However, when he came over to Chevrolet, he saw how the fuel mileage worked for him at Armory, and here today he's been up in the top 3 pretty much the entire race. And now, with circumstances thanks to Stephanie Gardner, he is out in front leading this event. Tell you what though, David Rivera is doing a great job of reeling him in. Dorian Face Puncher right there as well. You gotta wonder if Face Puncher gets the back bumper of Rivera, how hard are those two gonna race for second, or will they try working together to reel in Sanford to get one of those two guys their first win of the season, first win of their career? Well, all these questions and more are going to be answered in brief moments, but we're going to step aside for a quick commercial break. We'll be right back for the rest and the finish of today's Division III race at the Glen. Welcome back here to Watkins Glen. Charles Stanford continues to lead. The battle is on for second between David Rivera and Dorian Face Puncher. Whoa, Dorian goes wide. Oh man, that was tight off that corner. Man, he's lucky Chris Maley let him back on track, and Trent Dunham now is going to take advantage. He's now into this mix. Nathan Hudson there as well. Rivera, though, he is all over the back bumper of Charles Sanford for the lead. When we hit the stripe, it's 3 to go. Man, it's a hornet's nest back there from third on back, though. These 4 are racing pretty hard. Face Puncher, Dunham, Maley, and Hudson probably realizing time is very rapidly running out for these guys. They don't want a top 5. They want to win this thing, because wins are what get you into the chase. And Rivera had reeled in Sanford. He must have messed up the final corner there, that final right-hander or something out of the front straightaway, because now he's lost distance again. But the thing that we do know, which is extremely important, is that Rivera has been able to reel in Sanford. They've been sizing Sanford up. He's now given him a little distance, and he may try and reel him in again. Could be strategy on Rivera's part. We'll see. It looks like he is visibly closing the gap again. And this is a very veteran-like move by a rookie. Very aggressive move by David Rivera to realize that it's not going to help him to run on Sanford's back bumper lap after lap and then possibly get brake checked in the corner and end up losing Sanford. Instead, give Sanford the room, run faster lap times than him, and then reel him in when it matters the most. At the line, you can see he cut it down by 0.6, so Rivera is obviously faster than Sanford through many portions of this track, and he's got 2 laps to work with Sanford. You know how like a cat would play with its food or something? Well, that's what David Rivera is doing right now to Sanford. He is playing mind games. He's hanging back there. Sanford has got to be looking in his rearview mirror a lot more than he's looking out his windshield, just trying to calculate the distance between himself and Rivera every now and then. And Rivera again, through the dog leg, now cuts it down to about 2 car lengths between himself and Sanford. Question is, it looks like Rivera is better in the first half of the racetrack. Sanford's a little better in the second half after the dog leg. So Rivera may have to rely on that to be able to choose where he's going to make his move, as he is only 1 car length off the right bumper, but he messed it up! Oh, he messed up the final corner! He hit the wall! Chris Pound on the road, but David Rivera had the opportunity, and he messed it up there out of the final turn. Oh, that's a heartbreak. This is a battle for second between Melee and Face Puncher, but that could have just handed the win over to Sanford. I don't believe what I just saw. In all honesty, David Rivera was going to have a shot at winning this race, and he just majorly messed himself up. He's now lost the top 5. He's in the 6th position. And man, things could not have gone any better for Sanford. He didn't have to do a thing. Rivera was the orchestrator of his own demise. And Charles Sanford is about to come to the checkered flag for the 2nd time this season, and Sanford will be a confirmed driver in this season's Snickers Cup Series chase for the championship. For the first time in his career, Charles Sanford will be representing Retro Racing Enterprises this season in the chase as he takes the checkered flag here today at Watkins Glen. Man, I still can't get over what we just saw. Still cannot get over it. I thought for sure we were going to have a great battle for the lead there on the last lap, but Rivera just didn't get out of the throttle. I guess he full throttled it. Out of turn number, whatever turn that is, final corner. And like I had said, Face Puncher was Rivera was better in the first half of the track up to the dog leg. Sanford was better on the exit of the dog leg to the start-finish line. And I think Rivera realized that too and tried to be a little bit better than Sanford through that last turn, and it dearly, dearly cost him. As you are looking at another confirmed driver in this season's chase for the championship, Charles Sanford goes to victory lane for the 2nd time in 4 weeks. He will be in this season's Snickers Cup Series chase for the championship. Hope you guys enjoyed today's races from the Glen. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. Here comes your official full finish results from today's race in Division 3 at the Watkins Glen. Check out the end of Division 1, Division 2 to find out where you finished in those 2 divisions. And we will now show you your official point standings and your current chase points heading into next week, which will be the regular season finale. The chase field will be completely compiled next week at Arizona Speedway. Hope that you'll be tuning in for that. We know Charles Sanford is confirmed, along with a couple of other drivers as well, but there still are some open spots that there still are question marks on whether or not they will be confirmed drivers in the chase, or if somebody will make their appearance late in the season. We'll see you guys next time as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.